Morning, folks. Today we're going to try out our second trip into Newfoundland with the Vikings with Eric the Red. Our first trip was not so successful, so let's see if we can settle on our second trip and we'll just get started. I'll explain the game as we go. I came up with a new set of Voyage cards to start the first 7 turns. So the first one says, Vikings set sail from Greenland to Newfoundland, led by Eric the Red, Godor and Thor's Thinesfelder in 1012 with 35 crew. So we have 35 crew. We're trying to keep them alive. Move ahead 1, but move food from 6 down to 5. So we go from Greenland to the first square, and we use up 1 food on the first part of our voyage. We have 6 weapons, 6 supply, and 0 tension. When tension reaches 6, we have a full-on battle with the indigenous people, and we'll go to the battle chart. Second card, Strong Current on the open seas. The Vikings head out on the open seas. A strong current tries to throw the Viking ship off course. Winds are strong. So we're going to roll a d6, see the effect of the strong winds, and we roll a 4. And a 4 would mean we're going to move 1, but we're going to lose 1 supply. So some wood went overboard on our trip. We also got to move our food down 1 for that portion of the voyage. Next one, caught off course, caught in a storm. Strong high force winds out in an open Atlantic Ocean. The Vikings are caught in a violent ocean storm. Roll a d6. So we get caught in a storm. Let's see how we do this time. We roll a 4, and 4 says move 1, but we've lost 2 Vikings. So our Viking track goes down to 33. Our food goes down by 1, and our tension goes up as they are not very happy with this section of the trip. Next card, stock up on salmon. Calm seas and a lot of fish. Time to restock supplies or reach land quicker and keep moving on to reach Newfoundland. Roll a d6. So again, we'll roll a d6, and we roll a 6. And this time, move 0, but +1 on our food and +1 on our supply. Next portion of the trip, Baffin Island. Vikings sail near Helluland, the land of flat stones, which is Baffin Island. Exploring finds them see only miles of flat rock. Eric the Red says it's not suitable for settlement. So we're going to roll a d6 again. And this time we roll a 6 again. 6 is usually not very good. We're not going to move, and we lose 1 supply. Food also goes down by 1. Markland. The Vikings witness Markland and plentiful trees and forests. This is modern-day Labrador. Use this day to harvest lumber. So chance to get some lumber on our trip. Roll a dice. Again, I'm rolling a 6, move 1, and +1 supply. So we go back up to 6. -1 food. We need to get to Vinland quickly here. We're going to be starving with some of the Vikings. Next one, Vinland. The Vikings land in Vinland, a land named for plentiful grapes. Move to Vinland from your current spot. For every move you make, -1 food. You may now start your 2 turns. So we're going to move 2, which means we're going to get down to 0, and we lose 2 Vikings because of starvation. So I think our first move has to be, your choices are food. You roll a d6. If it's 1 to 4, you move up on the track. If it's a 5, you're not successful. If it's a 6, you lose 1 Viking and add 1 to the tension track. Just imagine the Vikings going out looking for fish and grapes and coming across some enemies while they're there. I can increase weapons. To do that, I add up 2 supply or subtract 2 supply to add 1 weapon. Supply is the same as food. You roll a d6. If it is 4 or less, I go up on the supply track. If it is 5, it is unsuccessful. If it's 6, one of my Vikings becomes sick. So I go down on the Viking track, but I put a marker to show that they are sick. So it looks something like this. And once they're better, you can use a revive move, you would move them back, and you would move the Viking would have medicinal plants, and he would feel much better. Your Viking crew goes up by 1, and you reduce your sick back down to 0. And the last thing is to build a palisade. A palisade, you just put a marker here, which is a fence around the buildings. They erected 6 to 8 buildings while they're there, and that will give you 1 extra number, an increase of 1 on the battle chart whenever you have to go to war with First Nations or the Indigenous people that are there. So I'll just get into it. First move, as I said, I think I'll go for food. I'm going to use both dice on food, so I'm looking at 1 to 4. And I get a 3 and a 4, so I get 2 food. So I move up on that track. Next one, attack. Oh man, right off the bat. Indigenous people take offense to the bull running loose at them and plan an attack on a Viking village. And again, this happened in real life. The bull did get loose when after the Indigenous people, they left. They were scared, and they actually came back full force to go after the Vikings. The effect of this is -2 weapons, and the tension goes up by 1. So my tension's now at 2. And I lose 3 Vikings in the fight, so I'm down to 29 Vikings. The first thing I think I want to do is, I think I'm going to try and improve my food again. Use both dice, and again, both work. So I move up 2 on that one. Next, Vikings explore the area of Markland to collect wood and iron to smelt and make into weapons. So my weapons go up by 2. Tension goes down by 1. Nice card for me. I think what I'll do here is I will lose a food and a supply to decrease the tension down to 1. So that is trading. So I'm going to trade with the First Nations people. Second thing I think I'm going to do, now's a good time to raid, but I'm so scared of losing Vikings. I think what I'll do is just try and improve food. I'm going to try and play a safe route this time. A 5, I don't get it. Next one. Vikings led by Thorn Karlsefni and his wife Gutrid trade their skin and red cloth with the Skrælings. Skrælings is what they called the indigenous people there. For their bison furs and gray squirrel skins. Food goes up by 2. Supply goes down by 1. Tension goes down by 1, so it's at 0. I think what I'll do is try and increase my supply by 2. And I got a 5 and a 6. So I move 1 up and not the other one. Vikings established peaceful relations with the indigenous people on the northern tip of Newfoundland. Tension goes down by 1. It's already at 0. Food goes down by 1. So I'm looking pretty good right off the start. I think I'll try and improve my food by 2. And a 6 and a 3. So I do get 1. Second one, the tension's going up, and I lose 1 Viking while looking for food. Not good. 6s can kill you. Next one, the Vikings bull gets loose and runs amok amongst the indigenous people. They flee because they've never seen a bull before. Tension goes up by 1. Food goes down by 1. I think what I'll do is I'll trade. So food and supply go down to lower that tension. And the second move, I think I'm going to try and get some more food, and I am successful getting food. Next one. Indigenous in Iceland. The indigenous people are taken back to Greenland and Iceland. DNA of 80 living Icelanders have a generic variation like the one found in the indigenous people in North America. I noticed I have a spelling mistake there. Tensions go up by 2 because you're kidnapping somebody. Supply goes up by 1, and weapons go up by 1. I think I will trade, so I'll lose 1 in food and supply to bring the tension to 2. I think I'll trade again. I'll bring them both down, bring that tension back down to 1. Next card. L'Anse Aux Meadow were never inhabited on a permanent basis. It was thought as a ship repair facility because of the forge and the iron tools. My food goes down by 1. My weapons go up by 1. I think for this turn, I'm going to try and increase food with both dice. Just don't roll a 6. Oh, and I don't get it. So I lose 1. Tension goes up. I lose 1 Viking. I'm down to 27 Vikings and 1 food. Next one, Thorvald. Leif's brother and other Vikings built settlements with a wood frame and a sawgrass roof. -2 supply, so my supply is down to 1. I think I'm going to do food 1 and supply 1. Food would be the white marking on the dice, and they're both 4s, so I increase them both by 1, which is good. Gives me a little bit of breathing room in case the bad cards come up. Vikings leave L'Anse Aux Meadow to explore south into present-day Maine in the United States. A coin minted by King Olaf is found there in Maine. So my food goes up as they go looking for food. My supply goes up as they get wood on this trip. My tension will go down because they're not in and around the First Nations people. And again, I think I'm going to move my food and supply both up by 1, and I'm successful. So they both move up to 4, so I'm looking pretty good again as I go through the deck. Stromfjord. Stromfjord, an alternate settlement made by the Vikings, is established as a second residence, and it's really not known where it is. It could be anywhere from Hudson's Bay all the way down to New York. But they did have documented writings about it in the Viking sagas, but they never were able to locate it. So supply goes down by 1, food goes down by 1, weapons go down by 1, tension goes down by 1, which is good. And I think I'll do 1 food and 1 supply, try and bring those back up. White for, 2 6s, oh my. So I'm going to lose 1 crew, tension goes up for food, and I have a sick Viking. Oh, geez, that is not what I wanted to see. So one of my Vikings gets sick. Next card. Sail south. The Vikings sail south to Connecticut, collect butternuts and grapes. Food goes up by 2. Weapons go up by 1. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to revive that sick Viking. So move that down to 0, move it back up to 26. I'll use 2 food to bring him back to health. And with my second dice, I think I'm going to increase my supply, and I'm able to increase my supply. Next card. Violent outbreaks between the locals and the Vikings after some initial peaceful trading. Tension goes up by 1. Weapons go down as there's a small fight. I lose 2 people in that small fight. I think I'm going to trade to bring the tension back down to 1. And I need some food, so I'm going to try and roll for food. I roll a 1, so I get some food. I go back up. Next card, Harsh Winter. Vikings have a terrible time during their first winter in L'Anse Aux Meadow. -1 food, -1 supply, -1 Viking. Somebody gets sick during the winter time. I think I'm going to move my food and my supply up. White markings will be the food die. Oh no, a 6. So I lose a Viking. Tension goes up for the food die. I do get more wood. Yeah, that's not good. 8 buildings. Leif Erikson and the Vikings construct 8 buildings upon arrival at L'Anse Aux Meadow, including a forge and a carpentry shop. Food is down by 1. Supplies down by 2. Weapons go up by 1. I need some food and supply. No 6s. I get food. I do not get my supply. Next card. First attack on the Skraelings. Thor Eriksson, brother of Eric the Red, finds 9 indigenous people sleeping under their skin-covered canoes when he first comes across them. A Viking being a Viking, he attacks them. 8 of the 9 are killed, and 1 gets away to go tell the others. So the weapons go down by 2. Tension goes up by 3. My tension's now at 5. And I can't bring it down because of my supply. Let's try and bring my supply up first of all. And I do. And do I bring that down? Oh man, what do I do for my second move? Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to trade with the First Nations, bring that tension down. I don't know if that's going to be smart or not. I need a good card coming up here. First Nations people come back. Oh no. Come back in full force and attack L'Anse Aux Meadow. Thorvald is killed by an arrow. Weapons go down by 2. Oh, bad time for that. Tension goes up by 2. And you do it in order. So I still have my 5 Vikings. So as soon as this hits a 6, we're going to the battle chart. So right now I have 22 Vikings and 2 weapons. So when I index that, 22 and 2 weapons is a 7. I have not built my palisade. So with 7 and less, I win this battle. And it is a 5. So I do win, but I do lose 2 people in this battle. So I'm down to 20. I do gain 2 of their weapons on the battle site to move up. Now the last part of this, tension goes back to 2, but I do lose 5 Vikings, so I'm down to 15 after that. 2 moves, I think I got to have 1 supply and 1 food. Oh, I don't get the food, I do get the supply. I need some good cards here. I'm getting down near the end, so I'm doing okay. Vikings suffer from scurvy and sickness during their time in Newfoundland, not knowing the medicinal plants that are there. I lose 2 Vikings. I'm down to 13. I think I am going to do food and supply, 1 of each. And I don't get the food. I do get the supply. Next card, Leif Erikson sets up settlement called Leifsboer, which is called Leif's houses when you translate, which he lends out to subsequent travelers down the road. Leif Erikson actually, while he was there, he never did set foot in Newfoundland. His crew did, and he did sail back. And once he got back, his father died, and he became the leader of the settlement in Greenland. So he was never able to come back to, Eric the Red was never able to come back to Newfoundland. So -1 food, which means 2 of my Vikings will die. Both these have to go towards food. And I get a 3 and a 5. I'm down to 11 Vikings. I don't know if this is going to work out. Vikings leave L'Anse Aux Meadow to explore south in the present Connecticut and in the United States, and they find butternuts. So my food goes up, which is what I needed. Supply goes up by 2, which I needed. Tension goes down by 1. I think I'm going to build a palisade. So 4 supply to build that palisade. So I now have a little bit extra support if there's another battle. And I know there's a big one coming. I think I will use both of these to do my supply. 2 5s. I get nothing on that. Oh my. Vikings catch an indigenous man trying to steal their weapons, which actually happened, and he is caught and they kill him. The weapons go up by 1, but the tension goes up by 2. I think I need to put my supply up by 2. I'm going to use both dice. I do get 1 of the 2. So I'm sitting at 11 Vikings as we come down to the last part. Battle chart. Oh, here's the big battle that breaks out. Of course, a lot of archaeologists and scientists that have researched this think that the Vikings either were slaughtered while they were in L'Anse Aux Meadow, or they just all left because the tension became too great too often. So I go to my battle chart. I have 11 Vikings and 5 weapons. So when I index that, 11 Vikings, 5 weapons is a 5. With my palisade, I go up to a 6. So I need 6 or less to win this battle. I really need to win this battle. I have how many cards left? 3, 6. Got 8 cards left, so I'm close. Really need to win this battle. And a roll of 3, so I win this battle. That is outstanding. I still lose 2 Vikings in the fight, and I gain 2 weapons. So that is much better than losing the battle and lose 1 weapon and 5 Vikings. Let's see if I can make this. It's going to be close. I got 9 Vikings. Freydis, the half-sister of Leif Erikson, who was pregnant at the time, did not retreat with her fellow Vikings when attacked. She stops, grabs a sword, strikes her bare breast with the sword. actual true story. Once the indigenous people saw this, they turned around, they stopped their pursuit of the Vikings, who were in retreat. My tension does go up by 2, so I'm at 5. I lose 2 Vikings. I'm down to 7, -1 food, -1 weapons. I need to get that tension track back, but I got to get more food. Roll for food. Oh, no, I don't get it. I lose a Viking. Tension goes up. Oh, I got another full fret. That was the last thing I needed, was to roll a 6. Oh, jeez. So I'm down to 6 Vikings, but I have 5 weapons. 6 Vikings, 5 weapons. I'm at a 5 with my palisade. It's a 6. 6 or less, I do okay. I roll a 9. Oh, man. So I lose 5 Vikings in this fight. I'm down to 1 Viking. I also lose 1 weapon. I get 2 turns from here on in. Yeah, this is not good. Let's go for food and supply. And I get food. I do not get supply. Next one. Snorri, the son of Thorfinn Karlsefni and his wife Gutrid, is the first known European to be born in North America. Tension goes down by 1. Oh, sorry, would have been at 2 after the battle. Goes down by 1. Weapons go down by 1. I think I'm going to try and... I can't roll a 6 or I'm done. I've only got 1 Viking left. Maybe I'll do 2 supply. I get 1 of the 2, so I move up. Next one, iron weapons. Vikings refuse to trade their iron weapons with the local indigenous people, so the weapons go up by 1. And 2 moves. I think I'll do 1 for food. And I get a food. And 1 for supply, maybe. And I don't get supply. Next one. 1960, a Norwegian couple, Anne Stein and Helge Instead, discover the site of L'Anse Aux Meadow. No effect. I think I'm going to roll both for supply to try and bring that up a little bit. And I get 1 of them, which is good. I have 1 Viking left, and I have 4 cards. This is going to be tight. Need some good cards coming up. Vikings, call the indigenous people influenced Skraelings, thought to mean something like savages. Tension goes up by 2. Weapons go down by 1. You know what? I'm too scared. I'm going to roll a 6 for food. I'm going to leave food where it is. I'm going to roll 2 for supply. Try and increase my weapons. I get 2. So next time I think what I'll do is try and increase my weapons. Anyway, if we do battle, I'll do a little better. 3 cards left. Can I hang on? Vikings travel to their land, their third home in North America, Hop, to ease tension. So tension goes down by 1, which I really needed. Food goes down by 1, which is not great. I think I'm going to use 2 supply to increase the weapons. And what do I do for the second turn? I just don't want to take a chance. I got 2 cards left. I don't want to roll a 6. Food is going to last. Let's do 1 more for supply. Oh, 6. So my guy is sick. So I'm down to 0, but he's hanging in there. So I've got a sick Viking, but I'm going to need 2 food. So I'm going to have to risk it next time. So I'm not quite dead. The marker is on 0, but I do have 1 sick Viking, 2 cards left. This is going to be super close. I need 2 good cards. Violent outbreak between the locals and the Vikings after some initial peaceful trading. Tension goes up by 2. Weapons down by 1. I lose 3 Vikings. Oh, with 1 card left. And it was a good card. Oh, man. So I end up losing with 1 card left. Anyway, fun game. Good balance between trying to hold off the First Nations, Indigenous people, which really outnumbered the Vikings during this time period. I get down to the last card before I finally lose. But this is Vikings at L'Anse Aux Meadow. Kind of a fun siege game. Hope you liked it, everyone. Bye for now.